Good evening, students. In today's class, we'll be starting with morphology of flowering plants. So we'll study the synopsis of morphology of flowering plants in detail, and in the next class, we'll be solving MCQs of this chapter. Okay, so just give me a minute. So this is a major chapter from first year PUC students. This is a one major chapter from first year PUC where at least 3 questions would be asked from this chapter. Okay. So morphology of flowering plants is a very big chapter and at least 3 questions will be asked from the first year portions in NEET as well as in CET. Okay. So tumba important chapter. So what is morphology? So morphology is basically the study of external forms of an organism. So ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. So what are angiosperms? Angiosperms are basically flowering plants that are characterized by presence of root, stem, leaves, flowers and fruits. Angios ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ covered ಅಂತ. So they have covered seeds here and their body is completely differentiated into root, stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So in a flowering plant, we look at two major systems. One is the root system, the other one is the shoot system. Okay, root system, which is the underground part, and shoot system, which is found above the ground. Now, first we'll start with the root. So what is a root? It is an underground part formed from the radical of the embryo. Now, ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೇರೆ ಓದಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ವೇರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್? ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋಲ್ ಓದಿದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ರಾಡಿಕಲ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಅರೈಸಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್. ದೆನ್ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಟ್, ನೋಡಿ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 3 ಮೇಜರ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಟ್: ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್, ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತರ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ತರ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಮಿನಿಟ್. ಡನ್. ಸೊ 3 ತರ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ್ದಾವ್ದು? ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್, ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್. ಸೊ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟ್. ಇದು ಅದರಿಂದ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೆನಿ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೀಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟೆರಿಷರಿ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಆಸ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆರಿಷರಿ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ದು? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ಸ್. Just a minute, students. So it is found in dicots. Okay, dicots. So 2 cotylid ಅಂತ ಇರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ. Then primary root is elongated to form the radical. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, from the radical. It is elongated from the radical. Example, mustard. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So please do take it down. Next, ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅರೈಸಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟ್, ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ರೂಟ್, ಸೀನ್ ಇನ್ ಡೈಕಾಟ್ಸ್, ಅರೈಸಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ radical. Example, mustard. Done. ನೋಡಿ. Next, fibrous root. So fibrous root ಯಾವ ತರ plants ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ in monocots which have a single cotyledon where the primary root is short lived. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟ್ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿನ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರೀಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಬೈ large number of roots. Okay, so these roots originate from the base of the stem to form fibrous root system. Example, wheat. So take it down. Broccoli develops from monocots. Primary root is replaced by large number of roots. Then they originate from the base of the stem to form fibrous root system. So they do not originate from the radicle. Ade tap root adre they originate from the radicle. Nodiri, tap root is the elongated from radicle, whereas fibrous root they arise from the base of the stem. So adu base of the stem ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ radical ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಹಾಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ radical ಇಂದ ಬಂದಂತ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟ್ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಓಕೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವೀಟ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೊನೋಕಾಟ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ರೂಟು ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ರೂಟ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್? ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ದಿ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್ ಇಂದ ಶುರು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ದಿ ರಾಡಿಕಲ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಗ್ರಾಸ್, ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆರಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರೀ. ಸೊ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Examples are very, very important in this chapter. Done. Adventitious root system. Then roots that arise from parts other than the radical. So we'll study about a lot about adventitious roots and modifications later. First we'll look at the regions of the root. So which are the different regions of the root, students? So we'll see here. From the bottom we'll go. Root cap. Then region of meristematic activity, region of elongation. Then last one, root of maturation. In the region of maturation, you'll have root hairs. So take it down. Done. So next part ಹೋಗೋಣ. Root cap. So root cap is the lowermost part of the root. So it is the covering at the apex of the root. Apex ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟಿಪ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟಿಪ್ ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ರೂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೀಜನ್. ಈ ರೂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು? ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಟೆಂಡರ್ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೂಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆರಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಸಾಯಿಲ್ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಟಚ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಆರ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್? ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಟಚ್ ದಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ರೂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So next part ನೋಡೋಣ. Region of meristematic activity ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಇದೇ region of meristematic activity. So in this region, these cells will keep on dividing. Okay, it is found just above the root cap region. Okay, here meristematic cells are found. Meristematic cells are those cells which will keep on dividing repeatedly. Take down. Take down region of meristematic activity where cells will keep on dividing. Then region of elongation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, this region. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೆರಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಉದ್ದ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೆಳೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎನ್ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೂಟ್ನ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಉದ್ದ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಲಾಂಗೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೆರಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಉದ್ದ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ elongation of the root. So take down. Done. So next part ಹೋಗೋಣ, ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಚುರೇಷನ್. ಈಗ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದಾಯ್ತು, ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಲಾಂಗೇಷನ್ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಬೆಳೆದಾಯ್ತು, ಉದ್ದ ಆಗಾಯ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮಲ್ ಇಲಾಂಗೇಷನ್. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋದು ಅಂತ, ಗಿಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ in the region of maturation the cells will differentiate and mature. So what do you mean by that? So normal cells, meristematic cells which are there, which will differentiate. So specialized function ಗೆ, for example ಪ್ಯಾರನ್ಕೈಮಾ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ಲೀರನ್ ಕೈಮಾ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಝೈಲಮ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಲೋಯಮ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಈ ತರ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಮೆಚೂರ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಸ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಚುರೇಷನ್. Take it down. Done. So we go to the next part, root hairs. So ಈ region of maturation ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, very fine thin thread like structures are formed from the epidermal cells. So outermost layer of cells ಇಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So these are called as root hairs. Root hairs basically absorb water and minerals from the soil. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಯಾವುದು ರೀಜನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಲಾಂಗೇಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಮೆರಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ನಡೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ದಿ ರೂಟ್ ಹೇರ್ ರೀಜನ್. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ರೂಟ್ ಹೇರ್ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್. Then we'll go to the next part, modification. So ನಾವು ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಏನು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ರೂಟ್ನ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಬಟ್ modifications ಇದೆ. So some roots have been modified to perform specific function other than absorption and conduction. So basic primary function of the root is absorption and conduction. Okay, absorption and conduction. So ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೇನಕ್ಕೆ ರೂಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. Swollen roots for food storage, prop roots, tilt roots, and pneumatophores. So we'll go one by one. First one, swollen roots for food storage. Tap roots of carrot, turnips, and adventitious roots of sweet potato. Okay, ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್, ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್, ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಟಿಷಿಯಸ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ. ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಿಹಿ ಗೆಣಸು. ಗೆಣಸು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್? ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಆಲೂಗೆಡ್ಡೆ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಕಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಡನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಬ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರೀ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾನಿಯನ್ ಟ್ರೀ. ಸೊ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಯೂಸ್, ಎರಡೂ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್? ದೇ ಗಿವ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್. They give mechanical support. Then next, stilt root. Stilt root, they are supporting roots that come out of the lower nodes of the stem. Example, maize and sugar cane. Okay, so basically this will give mechanical support. Right on. Done. So sugar cane, maize. Next, pneumatophores. So what are pneumatophores? Pneumatophores are those roots which come out of the soil to get oxygen for respiration. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ತರ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಕೆಸರು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಸಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಪೋರಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನ್ಯೂಮ್ಯಾಟೋಫೋರ್ಸ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್, ಅದು ಸ್ವಾಂಪ್ಸ್, ಕೆಸರು ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಗ್ರೂವ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂತ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರೈಸೋಫೋರಾ ಗ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ವಾಂಪಿ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್. Take down rhizophora. So next we'll go to the next part. Functions of root. What are the functions of root? Nodi, absorption of water and minerals from soil, provide proper anchorage to the plant so that they'll get fixed to the soil, storage of reserve food material, nodidvi naviga eston examples, and synthesis of plant growth regulators. So when they ask plant growth regulators, what does that mean? So they are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ಈ ತರ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Take it down. Now we'll go to the next part, stem. So what is the stem? Stem is the ascending part of the axis that develops from the plumule. Nodi, roots yavadinda develop aaytu, radical inda develop aaytu. Stem develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. Nodi, it bears branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, buds, nodes and internodes. So main, how do you differentiate a stem? Nimge ಒಂದು ಪೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅದು ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಲೀಫ್ ಅಂತ? Based on the nodes and internodes that are present in them. So take it down. Based on nodes or internodes. Take down what are all in the stem and how do you differentiate it? Based on nodes and internodes. You don't find nodes and internodes in the root. Okay. Now, what are nodes? Nodes are the regions of the stem where leaves are born. Where leaves are born. Then internodes are the regions which are the spaces in between two nodes. Which are the spaces in between two nodes. So young stem is generally green and later often becomes woody and dark brown. So this is a common phenomena. So note what are nodes and internodes. Nodes ಜಾಗದಿಂದಾನೆ ನಮಗೆ leaves ಬರೋದು. ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. Done? Nodi, what are the functions of the stem? So it is above the soil, so it will help in spreading out of branches, bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. Okay, it conducts water, minerals and photosynthetates. So leaf alli ಏನು food produce ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Then some stems help in food storage, support, protection and vegetative propagation. It helps in all these. So take it down. Take down. So ಈ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಡಿ modifications of the stem. So what are all the modifications we see? We see modification for food storage, food store ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Stem tendrils, okay, then thorns, phylloclade, stolon, offset, sucker, all these are stem modifications. Done? Nodi, for food storage ನೋಡೋಣ. So usually food storage are there underground stems, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೊಟ್ಯಾಟೊ, ನೋಡಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಶುಂಠಿ, ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಜಿಂಜರ್, ಟರ್ಮರಿಕ್, ಜಮೀನ್ ಕಂಡ್, ಕೋಲಕೇಶಿಯಾ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಸರ್ ಇದು ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ರೂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದಲ್ವಾ ಇದು ಅಂತ. ಆನ್ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ ನೋಡ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಲೀಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಒರಿಜಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಶುಂಠಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಕೆಲವು ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಲೀಫ್ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಶುಂಠಿದು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಆಲೂಗೆಡ್ಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ಐಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Those are the regions where the axillary buds come up. Those are the nodes. So they also act as organs of perenation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. What do you mean by organs of perenation? ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅನ್ಫೇವರಬಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಬರಗಾಲ ಬಂದೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಣಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಭೂಮಿ ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಗ್ರೋ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಹುಲ್ಲು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸುಟ್ಟೋದಿರ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿನ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೆಳೆಯೋಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So next we go to stem tendrils. So in stem tendrils, what will happen? So they give support. ನೋಡಿ, slender and spirally coiled structures developed from axillary buds. Students, ಇದೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ tendrils ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Those tendrils are developed from leaves. ಅದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರಿ ಬಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರಿ ಬಡ್ ಇಂದ ಬರುವಂತ ಟೆಂಡ್ರಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೈಂಬ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಕುಕುಂಬರ್, ಸೌತೆಕಾಯಿ, ಕುಂಬಳಕಾಯಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಕಲ್ಲಂಗಡಿ ಹಣ್ಣು, ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಬರೋದೇನು ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರಿ ಬಡ್. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಜಾಗದಿಂದ ನೋಡಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನೋಡಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ನೋಡಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So this is very important. It is coming from the node. It is a stem modification. It helps in climbing. Done. So gnapka itkolak students, the examples are very, very important. Next we go to thorns. So what are thorns? Woody, straight and pointed structures developed from axillary buds. They are called as thorns. So nodili, spines bere, thorn bere. So they protect plant from browsing animals. So ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಇದನ್ನ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದರಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಟ್ರಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೋಗನ್ವಿಲಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಸರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಸ್? Cactus, they are spines. Leaves are modified into spines. Remember that. Leaves are modified into spines. Take down. Done. So next part togona, phylloclade ante. So here what is happening? This whole stem is becoming green, okay, and fleshy and cylindrical, which contains chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Usually photosynthesis is done by leaves, but in some condition the stems will only get modified to help in photosynthesis, especially with the xerophytic plants. Xerophytic plants are those plants which grow in arid conditions, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಡ್ರೈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಫಿಲೋಕ್ಲೇಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಥಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಾಟೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಒಪನ್ಶಿಯಾ, ಫ್ಲಾಟನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್, ಯೂಫೋರ್ಬಿಯಾ, ಸಿಲಿಂಡ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So ನೋಡಿ, this is very important students. Take down opentia. So spines ಬೇರೆ, ಫಿಲೋಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ. ಸ್ಪೈನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋಲಾನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೋಲಾನ್? ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಲೆಂಡರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗಿಡ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೇನ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಇಟ್ ಗ್ರೋಸ್ ಏರಿಯಲಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೂರ ಏರಿಯಲಿ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್, ಭೂಮಿ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅ ನ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗ್ರೋ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅ ನ್ಯೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮಿಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ಮಿನ್. ಮಿಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪುದೀನ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಮಲ್ಗೆ ಗಿಡ. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ, ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಇದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗಿಡ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So take it down students fast. Next offset ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Offset ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, there is a lateral branch with short internodes. So you might ask sir difference ಏನು ಅಂತ. See, can you see here, internode is long, here internode is short. So distance ತುಂಬಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ. So at the node what will happen, there is a tuft of roots and leaves. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. Example in aquatic plants, so ನೀರಲ್ಲಿರೋ plants, Pistia and Eichhornia. Take it down. So just a minute students, just give me a minute. So offset, take it down. Now we'll go to the next one, sucker. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಫ್ಸೆಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟೋಲಾನ್ ಎರಡು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ಸ್. ಸಕ್ಕರ್, ಹಿಯರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಒರಿಜಿನೇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಭೂಮಿ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂಡರ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್. ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೂರ ಭೂಮಿ ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಬೆಳೆದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಆಚೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So it grows horizontally beneath the soil and comes out obliquely upward and gives rise to leafy shoots. Example in the case of banana, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಾಳೆ ಗಿಡ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಾಳೆ ಗಿಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಬೆಳೆದಿರ್ತೀಗ ಮೇಲೆ, ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಬಿಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕೂಳೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವರು. ಇದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಪೂಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಸಕ್ಕರ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಬನಾನಾ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಔಟ್. ಪೈನಾಪಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ರೈಸಾಂಥಿಮಮ್, ಸೇವಂತಿಗೆ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಈಸಿ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. Done. So next part ನೋಡ. So next underground stems ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿದೆ. So underground stems of some plants, example grass and strawberry, spread to new niches when the older parts die and new plants are formed. So old new parts will keep on moving in the underground stem and they keep on giving lateral branches like this. And remember students, the older part will die, newer ones will keep growing. Okay. So done. So we go to the next part, the leaf. So leaf is a lateral flattened structure born on the stem. So basically all leaves are green in color and they develop from the node Understand this, and they develop from the node and bear a bud at its axil. So at the tip, they'll bear a bud here, axillary bud. Then the leaves originate from the shoot apical meristems. Leaf originate from the shoot apical meristems and are arranged in a acropetal succession. Okay. Under acropetal succession. So what do you mean by acropetal succession? So here the oldest leaves are at the bottom, youngest ones at the top. So ತುಂಬಾ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿರೋ leaves ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, young leaves ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, tip ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So they are important vegetative organs of photosynthesis. So this is where photosynthesis takes place. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Okay. So nodi, which are the parts of the leaves? Leaf base, petiole, lamina. So leaf base andre yavadu? This is the leaf base where it's attached. Petiole is the stalk of the leaf. Lamina is the green part. Take down. Done. So we'll see here. Leaf base andre eno? With the leaf is attached to the stem. This part is the leaf base here. Yella attach agate. So it may bear two lateral leaf-like structures called stipules. So ಕೆಲವೊಂದರಲ್ಲಿ small projections ಇರುತ್ತೆ which are called as stipules. If it is present, then they are called stipulate. If they are absent, they are called as exstipulate. Okay. They are present, then they are stipulate. If they are absent, they are exstipulate. So in monocots, leaf base extends into a sheath-like covering, okay, of the stem which is partially or wholly. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ sheath ತರ full cover ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? So ನೀವು grass ನ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ next time ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay. So here, in some leguminous plants, where the leaf base may become swollen, this is called as pulvinous. Can you see here? Swollen leaf base. So each point is important here, students. Take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Petiole. ನೋಡಿ ಇದು petiole part. The stalk. It holds the leaf blade to the light. So flat ಆಗಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಲೀಫು, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ it holds the leaf blades to the light. It is thin, flexible and allows the leaves to flutter in the wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to the leaf surface. ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Done. So next we go to the lamina. So it is the green part in which veins and veinlets are arranged. So middle portion of the vein is called as the midrib. Nodili. This is the midrib. This is the midrib. The veins provide rigidity to the lamina and act as channels of transport of water, minerals, and food and materials. So what happens here? All these veins here will have xylem and phloem, which help in transport of food material. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Nodi, venation. So how the veins are arranged. So if they are arranged parallelly, okay, then it is called as parallel venation. If they are arranged in the form of a network, then it is called as reticulate venation. Done. So now take down. Reticulate venation. Here, reticulate venation, the veinlets form a network and they are found in dicots. Whereas parallel venation, where the veins are running parallel to each other and they are found in monocots. Nodi, take it down. Examples you can take down. All dicots and other examples were called monocots examples. So take it down first. Done. So we go to the next part. Types of leaves. So we have two major types of leaves. One is simple leaf and the other one is compound leaf. Okay. So one is simple leaf, the other one is compound leaf. Okay. So what is simple leaf? Simple leaves are those where the lamina is entire. Nodi ಇಲ್ಲಿ full entire lamina ಇದೆ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. Entire lamina. So when or when incise, the incision do not touch the midrib. So ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ incision ಬರುತ್ತೆ, but they don't touch the midrib. Done. So next part ನೋಡಿ, compound leaf. Compound leaf, here what will happen? The incision of the lamina will reach the midrib. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು midrib ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So students might ask, sir ಇದು midrib ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. So based on the leaf base here. So ಇದು leaf base ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದು petiole ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. From here till here it is the midrib. Okay, and all the midribs, okay, here till the midrib here, it will be incised and to form number of leaflets. A bud is seen in the axil of the petiole is simple and the compound leaves, but not in the axil of the leaflets of the compound leaf. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ leaflets. So compound leaves are of two types. One is pinnately compound. Pinna andre ear. So this is pinnately compound. This one is palmately compound. Okay, so take it down first. Done. So we will go to the next part now. So pinnately compound leaf. Nodi. In this, number of leaflets are present on the common axis called ratchets. Nodi, this is the ratchets. So ratchets is very similar to the midrib. So midrib ಏನು single leaf ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. Leaflets ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ this is called as the ratchets. Example in the case of neem. So you would have seen. So ಈ ತರದ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಬೇವಿನ ಎಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? That is a leaflet. ಇದು ಒಂದು leaflet. It's a leaflet. So this whole thing is one leaf. Are you understanding? This whole thing is a leaf. One leaf will have many leaflets in it. Palmately compound leaf. Nodile. In this, the leaflets are attached to a common point at the tip of the petiole. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ratches ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. So this whole thing is one leaf. Each small one here is a leaflet. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Phyllotaxy. What is phyllotaxy? It is the pattern of arrangement of leaves, okay, on the stem or a branch. It is called as phyllotaxy. Take down. So there are three major types of arrangement. One is alternate, the other one is opposite, and ordered. Nodali. Alternate nodili. So in this single leaf arises at each node in an alternate manner. So one first nodali ee kade idre, second nodali ee kade irutte. Ee kade alternate. Okay. Example China rose, mustard, sunflower idrallela. Opposite ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಒಂದು ನೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಲೀಫ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other. Okay. Example calotropis, ಗೋವಾ ಸೀಬೆಕಾಯಿ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ನೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ more than two leaves arise at a node and form a whorl. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸ್ಟೋನಿಯಾ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಡನ್. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ತುಂಬಾ ಬರ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ತರ ಲೈನ್ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕು. ಹೀಗೆ 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 ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಒಂದೇ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಈ ತರ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ. ಸೊ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ. ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಬರೋಣ. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಅಬೌಟ್ tendrils. Okay, I told you about tendrils. Okay, tendrils arise from axillary but stem modification. I'll note it is here you have modification of the leaves. So leaves, the primary function is to perform photosynthesis, but sometimes they are modified to functions other than photosynthesis. Example in the case of tendrils. So now allella odi tendrils, stem tendrils. What we are studying here is leaf tendrils. Here leaf is modified into a tendril for climbing. Example in the case of pea. So nimge enadru exam nalli pea, what type of modification? It is leaf modification for tendrils. Okay. Then spines. So thorns bere. Thorns arise on stems. Ade bere. So here they are spines. Leaves are modified into spines. Example in the case of cacti. So cactus will be example for two things. One is for phylloclade and the other one is for fine. So stem ಎಲ್ಲ phylloclade ಆಗಿದೆ, leaf ಎಲ್ಲ spines ಆಗಿದೆ. So remember, this is very important. Then fleshy leaves to store food. Example onion and garlic. ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Take it down. Okay. Now, some plants like Australian acacia, leaves are small and short-lived. So their petioles will expand and become green to synthesize food. Nodile, Australian acacia leaf illide. The normal leaves are here, but the petiole has only become leaf-like to perform photosynthesis and synthesize food. Take it down. Then leaves of insectivorous plants, example pitcher plant, Venus flytraps, are also modified leaves. Nodile. So take it down. Examples are very important, students. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. Done. So we'll go to the next part. Flower and inflorescence, very important part, students. So we have studied about flower in sexual reproduction of flowering plants. But here we'll look at each part in detail. So what is a flower? A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem becomes the floral meristem. So yavaglu stem na tips alli, so floral meristem agutte nodi illi, floral meristems. So this will develop into a flower. So the internodes do not elongate and the axis will get condensed. So the tip, apex and the tip produces various floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. So when the shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is solitary. So single flower iruttali. Okay. Done. So we go to the next part. So there are two major types of inflorescence. So first we should know what is inflorescence. So it is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. So ಈ floral axis ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಜೋಡಿಸಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲಾರಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So there are two major types of inflorescence. Okay, based on whether the apex, ಈ ಟಿಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಟಿಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಾ, ವೆದರ್ ದ ಟಿಪ್ ಏಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟಿಪ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ, ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ. ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರಿದೆ, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೆಸರಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದೋಸ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ರೆಸಿಮೋಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೈಮೋಸ್. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಸಿಮೋಸ್, ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಮೇನ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ and the flowers are born laterally in acropetal succession. So what do you mean by acropetal succession? The old ones at the bottom, the new ones at the top. Okay, next one, cymos. Ili main axis will terminate in a flower. Nodi ili flower ಅಲ್ಲಿ end ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Hence limited growth. This is in basipetal succession. Here new flowers at the bottom, old flowers at the top. So acropetal ಅಂದ್ರೆ old at the bottom, new at the top. Okay, so basipetal ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನರ್ಥ, ನ್ಯೂ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಬಾಟಮ್, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಟಾಪ್. ನೋಡಿ ಓದಿ, ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. So we go to the next part. Individual flower nonaiga. So individual flower is a reproductive unit in angiosperms. So it is meant for sexual reproduction. Illi the stalk. So flower in a kaddi enirutte adana pedicel anta heltivi. For the flower it is, sorry, for the leaf it is petiole. For flower it is pedicel. So it has a swollen end. One timpali oodkondirutte, that is called as a thalamus, on which you will find all the floral parts. So reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel is called as bract. So stalk hatra irutte bract, nodi ಇಲ್ಲಿ bract. So flowers with bracts are called bracteate, and the flower without bracts are called ebracteate. Nodi, take it down. Done. So take it down. Bracteate, ebracteate words ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ಲೋರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ಲೋರಲ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so take down. So flower will have four types of whorls: calyx and corolla. They are also called as accessory whorls or non-essential whorls. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೂ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. Then andrecium and gynecium, they are called as reproductive organs whorls, or they are also called as essential whorls. Essential whorls. So ಏನರ್ಥ? Essential, either andrecium or gynecium or both will be present in a flower. So take it down. Take it down. We go to the next part. So take it down, students. Here, some flowers like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct, and it is called as perianth. So what do you mean by perianth? Okay, perianth is the fusion of calyx and corolla. Okay, then take down individual units of perianth. Barkoli idana. Individual units of perianth, they are called as tepals. Okay, they are called as tepals. So when the flower has both andrecium and gynecium, it is bisexual. If it has either andrecium or only gynecium, ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದ್ರೆ, then it is unisexual. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. So types of flowers based on symmetry. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ the structures in them. So here we are looking at types of flowers based on symmetry. So if we cut a flower along the axis, we get two similar halves. If like this also we get two similar halves, this also two similar halves, then it will show radial symmetry. Then it is called actinomorphic. If you cut it along a line and you get two similar halves, but along the other ones you don't get two similar halves, then it is called as bilateral symmetry. So you don't get two similar halves along any plane, then it is called as asymmetrical flowers. So take it down, students. Actinomorphic flowers or radial symmetry flowers. So here the flower can be divided into two radial halves in any radial plane by passing through the center. Done. So we go to the next part. Nodi, the zygomorphic flower. So what is a zygomorphic flower? Here flower can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular plane. So either one particular plane you are getting two similar halves. But if you cut it in the other plane, so you don't get two similar halves. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ bilateral symmetry ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So take it down. Done. So next one we go to asymmetrical flowers or irregular flowers. Here the flower cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center. Example, Canna lily ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay. Done. So we go to the next one. So based on the number of floral appendages, so yav multiples alide anodra mele we have three types of flowers: trimerous, tetramerous and pentamerous. Trimerous, here the appendages are multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9 ee tara irutte. Tetramerous, here the floral appendages are multiples of 4, 4, 8, 16, 12 ee tara irutte. Pentamerous, here the floral appendages will be multiples of 5. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next one. So types of flowers based on position of calyx, corolla, and rhizome with respect to ovary and the thalamus. So ovary comparison ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಡೀತಾರೆ. So first one, hypogynous, perigynous, and epigynous. So we'll start with hypogynous. Hypogynous, here the gynecium occupies the highest position. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ gynecium top ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, and all the other parts are situated below it. This is hypogynous. So ovary is superior. Example, mustard, china rose, and brinjal. Notice students. Take it down. Done. Next, perigynous. What is perigynous? Perigynous condition is where the gynecium is situated in the center. It is situated in the center. Okay. And all the parts of the flower are located at the rim of the thalamus. E portion, rim of the thalamus. Almost at the same level. Almost at the same level. Ovary is half, inferior. Example, plum, rose, and peach. Take down. Example, plum, rose, and peach. Done. Next, epigynous. Here the margin of the thalamus will grow upwards, enclosing the ovary, and is getting completely fused with it. So all the other parts are above the ovary. Okay, and the ovary is inferior. Ovary tumba ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. Example, guava, cucumber. Okay, ray florets of sunflower. So sunflower ನಲ್ಲಿ petals ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. So ಎರಡು ತರ florets ಇರುತ್ತೆ. One is ray florets, the other one is disc florets. So know this. Done. So we go to the next one. Parts of flower: calyx, corolla, andrecium, and gynecium. So calyx, it is the outermost whorl. So full acha iruantadu. So it is made up of sepals. So individual units are called as sepals. So sepals are usually green in color. Okay, are usually green in color, leaf-like, and they protect the flower in the bud stage. Okay, so calyx, if they are all fused, the sepals are all fused, then it is gamosepalous. Okay, so if it is all free, then it is polycephalous. Take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Corolla. So individual units of the corolla are called as petals. They're called as petals. They lie inner to the calyx, that is inner to the sepals. Usually petals are brightly colored and they help to attract insects for pollination. So corolla, okay, that is the which has the petals. The petals may be fused or united, then it is called as gamopetalous. If they are free, they are called as polypetalous. So shape and color of the corolla will vary in plants. Okay, so corolla may be tubular, bell shaped, funnel shaped, or even wheel shaped. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Parts of the flower and how the floral whorls are arranged. So how sepals and petals are arranged. So that is important. So it is called as estivation. Oh, what is estivation? It is the mode of arrangement of sepals and petals in the floral buds. This is called as estivation. Estivation. So there are different types of estivation. Have a look, students. Take it down. Valvate, twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. Take it down, students. So let's go to the next part. First one, valvate. So what is valvate estivation? Valvate estivation is a condition where sepals and petals in the whorl, okay, will not touch each other. They'll not touch each other at the margin without overlapping. So take it down. So they do not touch each other. Done. So we go to the next part. Twisted. So one margin of the appendage overlaps with the next one and so on. ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದು ಟಿಪ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So this is called as twisted. So this is called as twisted estivation. Twisted estivation. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಎಸ್ಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, imbricate. Imbricate. Here margins of the sepals or petals will overlap with one another but not in a particular direction. So ಒಂದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತರ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್, ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಔಟ್, ದ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್. ಒನ್ ಇನ್, ಒನ್ ಔಟ್, ದ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟೆಡ್. ನೋಡಿ, done. So next one, vexillary. So here what happens in this, there are 5 petals. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, 5 petals. So here what is happening, the largest or the standard petal will overlap the 2 lateral wings. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, this is the largest one here. So there are 2 lateral wings. This is one lateral wing and this is one lateral wing. Okay, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest anterior keels. ನೋಡಿ, this one. Yeah, this is called as vexillary. Example in the case of P and bean. So take it down. Done. So next go to the next part. Parts of flower. ನೋಡಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ sepals ಆಯ್ತು, petals ಆಯ್ತು. Now we look at androecium. That is the male part. That is the male part of the flower. So when we look at the male part of the flower, it is the androecium, which is composed of individual units called as stamens. So each stamen represents the male reproductive organ, and the stamen consists of a stalk, that is a filament, and an anther. So take it on. Done. So next part होगा. So here the andrecium, okay, maybe sorry, the andrecium which has stamens may be attached to petals. Then it is called as epipetalous. If it is attached to perianth, that is tepals, then it is called as epiphyllous. So take it down. Example lily. Done. So let's go to the next part. Nodi, if the stamens of the flowers are free, then it is called as polyandrous. If the stamens are united, then they are called as synandrous. Done. So let's go to the next part. Synandrous stamens, that is fused stamens, can be of different types based on how many bundles are formed. So if they are united to form one bundle or one bunch, then it is called as monoadelphous. So if stamens are united to form two bundles, then it is called as diadelphous. Example in the case of pea. So if the stamens are united to form more than two bundles, example in the case of citrus, then it is called as polyadelphous. So examples are very important, students. So take it down. Done. So next part. There might be variation in the length of filaments within the flower. So usually what happens, the filaments will not vary within the species, but in some cases they'll vary. Example in the case of salvinia and mustard. So usually they are all the same. One species ali one day filaments almost hote same length irutte. Okay. So remember this. Done. So we'll go to the next part. Gynecium, that is the female part. So gynecium or the pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of one or more carpels. Okay, and is usually made up of one or more carpels. So carpel will have three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Take it down. Stigma, style, and ovary. Done. So we go to the next part. Stigma. So it is usually the tip of the style, which is a receptive surface for pollen grains. So pollen grains will come and fall on the stigma. Style. It is an elongated tube that connects ovary to the stigma. And remember the students, the pollen tube will grow from stigma to the ovary. Then ovary, it is the enlarged basal part on which this style will lie. Okay, so each ovary will bear one or more ovules attached to a flat cushion like placenta. Flat cushion like placenta. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. Polycarpillary pistils. Nodi. Pistils with many carpels are called as polycarpillary pistils. There are two types, apocarpus and syncarpus. If the carpels are free, then apocarpals. If they're fused, then they're called as syncarpus. Apocarpus, example, lotus and rose. Syncarpus, mustard and tomato. Done. So we go to the next part, placentation. So how are the ovules arranged on the placenta is important. So placentation is basically an arrangement of ovules on the placenta within the ovary. So it is of many types: marginal, axial, parietal, free central, and basal placentation. So take it down. Done. So we go to the first one, marginal placentation. Here, placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and the ovules are born on this ridge, forming two rows. So here, all the ovules are arranged along the margins. So this is called as marginal placentation. Example in the case of P. ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಈ ಅವರೆಕಾಯಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗಲೂ ಮಾರ್ಜಿನಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. Done. Then axial placentation. What is axial placentation? Here, the placenta is axial and ovules are born to it in a multilocular ovary. So this is called as axial placentation. Example, China rose, tomato, and lemon. Okay, axial placentation. So take it down. Done. So we go to the next one. Parietal placentation. Here ovules are born on the inner wall of the ovary or on the peripheral part. So ovary is only one chambered, but it becomes two chambered due to formation of false septum, but they won't divide it. Okay. So example, mustard and argemone. Take it down. Done. So next we go to the next part, free central placentation. Here ovules are born on the central axis and the septa are absent. Example, dianthus and rose. So take it down. Example, dianthus and rose. Okay. Next, basal placentation. Here placenta develops from the base of the ovary and a single ovule is attached to it. Example, sunflower and marigold. So take it down. Sunflower and marigold. Done. So we go to the next part. After fertilization, the ovules will develop into seeds and ovary will mature into fruit. So take down. So next part, we'll go to the next part, fruit and the seed. So here, what is fruit? Fruit is the ripened ovary which is developed after fertilization which is developed after fertilization. So it is a characteristic feature of flowering plants where the seeds are covered by the fruit. A fruit is formed without fertilization is called a parthenocarpic fruit. It's called a parthenocarpic fruit. In mango and coconut, fruit is called a drupe. So which are developed from which are basically one seeded and are developed from monocarpellary superior ovaries. So take down. Take it down, students. So all this is very, very important. Now, coming to fruit. Fruit wall. So pericarp is called as the fruit wall. It may be dry or fleshy depending on the fruit. So it has three layers: epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Epicarp is the outermost part, mesocarp is the middle part, and endocarp is the innermost part. So now students, all fruits will have these parts, but their edible content will vary. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಎಡಿಬಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮೀಸೋಕಾರ್ಪ್. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೀಸೋಕಾರ್ಪ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಇಟ್ ದಿ ಮೀಸೋಕಾರ್ಪ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೀಸೋಕಾರ್ಪ್ ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರದು ಫೈಬ್ರಸ್ ಮೀಸೋಕಾರ್ಪ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಹಸ್ಕ್. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ವಿ ಈಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್? ವಿ ಈಟ್ ದಿ endosperm, that is cellular endosperm. Okay, and what do we drink? We drink the nuclear endosperm of the coconut. So take this down. Done. So ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Next, seed. What is a seed? A seed is a fertilized part of the ovary. So mature, fertilized part of the ovule. So it is a mature ovule developed after fertilization. So a seed is made up of seed coat and embryo. Okay. So the embryo is made up of radicle, an embryonal axis, and cotyledons. Okay. Cotyledon can be one cotyledon in the case of monocots, or it might be two cotyledons in the case of dicots. Two cotyledons in the case of dicots. So take down, students. So even in the last chapter we have done about it. Okay, so you should know that the region above the embryonal axis is called as epicotyle. The one below it is hypocotyle. The one below it is hypocotyle. Okay, so next, structure of dicot seed. So the outermost covering of the seed is called as the seed coat. Okay, it's called as the seed coat, which is made up of two layers, testa and tegmen. So they are basically developed from, okay, they are basically developed from integuments, integuments, okay, integuments. On the seed coat, there is a scar called hilum through which the developing seeds are attached to the fruit. Okay. So above the hilum, there is a small pore called as the micropyle. So you would have studied micropyle when you studied ovule. So that micropyle is through which water enters. Okay. So take it down. These are the parts of the seed. Take it down, students. Done. So we go to the next part. So within the seed coat is the embryo consisting of embryonal axis and cotyledons. So this is normal. So cotyledons are fleshy and preserved food materials is present in them. So every time they germinate, so it should be able to provide material for the growing seedling. Okay. So at two ends of the embryonal axis, radicle and plumule are present. Radicle will form the root, plumule will form the shoot. Okay. Take it down fast. Some seeds, such as castor, so they'll have endosperm, which is persistent in them, and it is formed due to double fertilization. So they are called as endospermic seeds. Okay. So in some plants such as gram and pea, the seeds are non-endospermous. Endosperm is not seen in the mature seeds. So take it down. Examples are very important. Take it down. These are very, very important. Examples are very important, students. Done. So next one, structure of monocot seed. Have a look, students. So generally monocot seeds are endospermic. What does it mean? So there is lot of endosperm that is stored. Okay. Very few of them are non-endospermic. Example in the case of orchids. So in cereals like maize, seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the seed wall. So the endosperm is bulky and will store food. So ನೋಡಿಬಹುದು ನೀವು ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನುವಂತ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಊಟ ಏನಿದೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಮೊನೊಕಾಟ್ಸ್. ರಾಗಿ, wheat, rice, jowar, maize, all these are endospermic. Okay, are all endospermic. So the endosperm is bulky and it will store food. So the outer covering of the endosperm separates the embryo by a protein layer called alluron layer. Not really. So there is a protein layer called alluron layer. So take down. Take down. We'll go to the next part. So embryo is a small and situated in the groove. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ರೈಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ರ ಎಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ. So that is where the embryo is present. The rest is all the endosperm. So here they'll have a single cotyledon, shield shaped cotyledon. So that shield shaped cotyledon, what is there, is called as the scutellum. Is called as the scutellum. Okay. So and a short axis with the plumule and radical. Short axis with plumule and radical. So the plumule is protected by a sheath called coleoptile and the radical is protected by a sheath called coleorhiza. Take down coleoptile and coleorhiza first. Done. So now semi-technical description for typical flowering plants. So if we take a flowering plant and take a cross section of the flowering plant, then each part of the flowering plant can be described with a particular formula. So the plant is described beginning with its habit, vegetative characters, and then the floral characters. Then a floral diagram and floral formula can be represented. So here, look at the different formulas here. So take each and every one of it. It's very important. Done. So students, we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class. In the next class, students, we'll complete the semi-technical description and families and then solve MCQs from this chapter. So read and come for the next chapter, students. Thank you.